I dropped it. Yeah, so this occurred. I'm probably am crazy. I'll have you know, I did book an appointment with the gynecologist. Everything was going to plan. If you're getting any ideas right now, any sense of legality, lawyership, you are a legal aid, you've looked at an LSAT prep book. This is in no way medical advice. This is in fact not advice at all. This is just a story, my own personal experience. There are actual risks associated with what I'm about to talk about, and I accepted those risks for myself. I did, but I am in no way granting you, I'm not telling you to take these risks. In no way am I telling you to take the same risks that I took. Please do not make any personal decisions based on what I'm about to say. With that out of the way, today on the channel, we're gonna be talking about how I took out my own IUD. I will tell you the reasoning behind it, what my experience was like doing it, what my experience has been like after, and yeah, we'll just go from there. Everything was going to plan. I did book an appointment with the gynecologist. This is when things started to go south. I was told I had to have a special appointment just to set up care. I'm like, I'm gonna move soon. This really doesn't matter. I'll set up care and then please just get this thing out of me. So that was annoying. And then I get the call from the office and they're gonna charge me like $120 for this initial appointment. And I was like, what the heck? All I'm gonna do is come in and fill in forms, and filling in forms is gonna cost $120? What about the frickin' removal? How much is that gonna cost? I don't even know when that's gonna be. I just started spiraling in a rage, and then I started Googling, and it seemed kind of silly to me. If all the procedure is somebody pulling on two strings. I can do that. I've done that before. And why? Why should I have to pay, I don't know, at least $120, probably $300, go to a doctor's office twice, fill in a bunch of forms, allow my health data to be dispersed more throughout the world, just to get somebody to pull on two strings? Like, I can do that. Yes, you can tear a hole in your uterus, but so can a doctor. Background time. I have been devoted to developing my own femininity, my connection with the holy practice of being a woman. I have become so connected with the honor, the creative, unique spark that we have as women to offer the world because we have a womb, because we make fucking life. I realize it's so insane that I have taken a piece of plastic and inserted it into my biggest creative center. Like, okay, let's think about some other organs. Say every month you have a thought that you don't like, or there's a threatening thought that you feel once a month, and somebody told you that the solution to that was to stick a piece of plastic into your brain that was going to release hormones. Like, what would you think? Or God forbid, we asked a man to stick a piece of plastic in his penis to stop ejecting sperm. I mean, okay, yes, it doesn't fully work out because I think there is like a peeing thing that would deal with, but seriously, women, you're going to go to a doctor's office, spread your legs, carjack open your vagina, and then stick a piece of plastic in there. That's gonna change your life for the next 5 to 7 or more years. That's what you're gonna do. I mean, I did it. I get it. I was scared shitless of pregnancy for so long. All of my decision making, deciding to use birth control, that was always from a place of fear. And there's legitimacy to being afraid of bringing a child into this world. I think that became fear of my own femininity, of my own power. Also, why isn't it the fact that every time we have sex, we are engaging with the responsibility of potentially bringing life into the world? I certainly would have made a lot of different decisions in my life if I chose to look at sex as a portal for life. That's just the case. Wow, I'm like getting emotional. I was not anticipating this. I honestly, okay, I guess I'll just say this because whatever, I'm already crying. Trigger warning. I was so convinced. I was just so convinced that I was going to be raped one day and I was going to end up getting pregnant from that. You can say that is illogical, and it is illogical. I was raped. I did not get pregnant. But I think this speaks to a larger social fact that as a woman, you don't feel a lot of power over what happens to you or your womb. It does feel like, at least when I was younger, that decision will be up to the man. And I can try my best, but there's a lot out of my control about whether or not I am pregnant or whether or not I bring life into this world. And so this was an act of regaining control over that, regaining a feeling of control. Okay, we're gonna stop trying to cry now, so like we keep going. I didn't feel like it was up to me, and it felt like I could protect myself from the consequences, but not that I could actually initiate all of the decision making. And so this act, it represented so much more to me in general, just getting my IUD removed. I hated my IUD. The insertion was extremely painful. I couldn't get out of bed the day that I got it in. I felt like often I could feel it inside of me. I could feel cramps around it. I had the worst periods of my life. I generally always had an irregular period. On my IUD, I would have them every 3 weeks. Sometimes it would last for 2 weeks. I was bleeding more often than I ever had. And the cramps were it was just so miserable. And mind you, I've done the shot, I've done pills, I've done an IUD. Obviously, I've used condoms. The best birth control experience I ever had was using the shot. I really liked not having a period. Now, I'm very committed to having a period. I'm very committed to experiencing the natural pacing and rhythms of my cycle. I haven't experienced the natural period in 9 years. I've been disconnected from the natural pacing of life, from the ability to bleed, give back to the earth, cycle in tune with nature. It was time. It was time. Now that I'm stepping into myself as a spiritual being and owning the power of being a woman, I was ready. It was time to get it out. I was so annoyed how long it was going to take if I had to do it from a doctor's office. And it was the eclipse. And I was like, you know what? This is a huge energetic opportunity. Let's fucking do it. Like, what could go wrong? It's like 8 o'clock at night. You can't go to urgent care anymore. You don't want to drive with this thing half inside of you, or you bleeding out your uterus or whatever. If we're going to do this, we got to do it. And we did. Again, if you are getting your legal pad out, this is not an instruction manual. This is not advice. This is just a story about what happened. So anyway, I went into my bathroom. I laid a towel down on the floor and put a mirror up. If you do any of your own waxing or shaving, you know the position. And yeah, I remember looking at myself in the mirror. I found the strings. Like, you do really have to get up in there, but they are there. At first, I tried to use my 2 fingers. I will use a Diva cup for my period, and that's how I do that. I realized I wasn't going to be able to get enough force with just my 2 fingers, so I pulled my hand out, and I looked myself in the mirror, and I realized, like, all right, well, there's no halfway with this. If you're really gonna do this, you just have to commit to it, enact what you want. And so I just took my whole hand and I was like, bigger hands have fit up there before, so you could do it. I took a deep breath, I found the strings, and I just gently, intentionally pulled, and it was quite easy. It just came out. And that was that. And I felt so fucking high after it. So powerful. Not only I got the task done, but I also felt like all of the layers of the social complexity on top of it being inside of me, I had moved all of that in one fell swoop. It was all just gone. It felt like a cramp, a holding, a clenching that had been in my body for the 5-6 years that I had it inserted just released. I felt so open, still, and calm. That was so worth it. I felt so good, just so good. And then the bleeding started. I would say like a day later, I started to notice some spotting when I was out at the store. I thought, well, that's probably normal. I'm sure my body is confused. That wasn't expected. And then by the next day, it was pretty solid bleeding. It seemed like I was having a period. It was kind of different than normal period blood. It was a lot thinner. I had just had a period, so it wasn't my natural cycle. I felt fine though. I didn't feel lightheaded. It wasn't a lot of blood. I tuned into my body and I was like, I'm not worried. We'll give it a week. If it doesn't stop, then we'll go see a doctor. I was kind of stoked because it was the eclipse and I was like, fuck yes, like I get to bleed. I get to give my blood back to the earth. This is awesome. I did do that. I did a whole ceremony with myself. We can talk about my eclipse at some point. That was a whole experience. It's like day 5, day 6, day 7. It doesn't stop. Luckily, I did wake up in the morning and it had stopped. I had stopped bleeding, so I was like, all right, it's just a period. I didn't punch a hole in my uterus. And I've been fine ever since. I was pretty anticlimactic. I just kind of threw it in the trash and that was that. Of course, then I realized I had to film about it, and I still have it. I feel weird throwing it out almost. I don't know. Are you allowed to throw this away? Like, what even is it, you know? Like, where? It's so fucking weird. I got so excited. I started this whole journal. I told myself I was going to track my moods, my everything, like, every day. I haven't done that, but it feels so powerful that I'll just have this physical record, this daily opportunity to connect with the earth, with my cycles, with myself as a woman. I really encourage that process for anyone, no matter what level of birth control you are on or not on. Again, this is not advice. This is in no way advice. If you're interested in natural cycle tracking and planning, consider that. Consider your path to that. Yes, it's a crazy topic, but I don't feel crazy. I guess said the crazy person. You can judge me. You can judge me down in the comments below. I would love that. I hope you have a beautiful week and I'll see you soon.